Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report with head coach Krista Kilburn-Steveskey. And coach, one game last week, it was a road victory against Northeastern. Just talk about how important that victory was for the team psyche, and what did you like about your team overall?
You know, I love their effort, their passion. I was talking to a fellow coach outside before our show today, just about how much as a coach you just want your kids to just play hard continuously and don't make the game difficult. And I felt like that's what they did. Their attitude, their confidence, they felt like they could win from start to finish, and it was quite contagious.
Alo Edifaroka, 2 double-doubles in the last 3 games, including 12 points, 12 rebounds against Northeastern. Just talk about how her role has expanded since the start of the season.
Well, developing. You knew she's going to continue to get better. She hadn't played basketball that long. You know, she's getting great leadership and training from all my coaches. You know, all our coaches work with everyone, but Coach Khan, as well as Adia Ravel, working with her. But just embracing her, you know, development, understanding of the game. You know, you find yourself saying some things to her, and she really, you know, hadn't played enough to know some of the nuances. So as she's getting this game experience, which is, you know, just invaluable, and she's beginning to get better and better.
And you have another freshman who's making a big contribution in Crystal Luciano, 8 assists last game against Northeastern. Just talk about how you've seen her improve as well.
Well, you know, she's come into Hofstra with such international experience, you know, playing aggressive teams like Mexico and playing all over South America. And she's been playing with that national team since she was young enough to, you know, 9 years old, I think. So when you're playing on that type of stage, you know, you have a mentally a different edge, and then even if her size is strong, she just has that toughness to her and that skill. So, you know, so she comes in with such a vast experience, but, you know, in adjusting to the college game, she'll always talk about that, adjusting to how we play over here, the different styles, but being heady and being able to understand the game, and you know, and you know, really just making plays, getting her teammates involved, and I think some of that is. It's just really exciting to watch her. I mean, she was showing that promise all along from the start of the season, and then she's just running with it now.
Sure, and just talk about that mental toughness, because you always ask a lot of your point guards in this offense, and now her workload, it's becoming more than 30 minutes a game for a freshman. So just talk about how she's been able to thrive in it.
And trying to find moments to take her out. And I think that's what I was explaining to her the other day. It was like, look, I know she wants to play constantly, but you know, finding some moments to get her some rest, which I've been really happy with Asia. You know, taking that backup role as a point guard. You know, she's been making better decisions and handling the ball, keeping it in her hands more than throwing it away. And so that the better that Asia plays, and Bill can help Crystal in that role to give her some time. But you know, yeah, that's your biggest worry when you have a freshman playing a lot of minutes. Come, you know, into February, 1st of March, when you need her, you want to make sure she, you know, is still healthy and still, you know, able to kind of run the ship.
And just talk about having that team depth, because 6 players scored at least 6 points against Northeastern. And as a coach, how does that make you feel when you see that type of box score and that type of balanced contributions?
Well, what you're hoping for night after night, and consistency is always, you know, what you're gearing up for when you're starting three freshmen, a sophomore, and 1 senior, and with, you know, sometimes 2 sophomores. Alexis has been in that starting lineup a lot, you know, so it's either Alexis and Kelly, and just been great having Annie Payton to have that 6th man. I mean, we don't have any other lift like that. So for her to be unselfish and take that role, and you know, so to be able to have that, kids start to believe in the roles, what they can bring to the team, and you know, now they just got to do it. They got to do it. They got to do it when it's tough. They got to do it, you know, when you know, someone's coming at them really hard. And I know that this game helped them continue to brew their confidence.
Sure. And now you had about a week. Well, by the time you play your next game Friday, when you host Wilmington here at the Max Sports Complex at 7 o'clock, it'll be about a week between games. And just how important has been that not having any games over the weekend, having a week of maybe a couple of days off to rejuvenate the bodies and get back to practicing. Just talk about how important that break was heading into Friday's game.
We've never had it, you know, so I can be honest, it felt almost unbelievable. I know that kids appreciated it, and I'm sure other teams now that have had this are going to be having this. They'll understand that feeling, because we've never had that. I spent over 12 years in the CAA, and you know, you've always just grind, and then now semester starts back and things are going. So I couldn't ask for the timing of that to have been more perfect, and then some bumps and bruises from a physical game up there, giving people time to heal. But it certainly is a mental recharge of the battery in that respect.
And now looking ahead to that Friday game against Wilmington, second time you faced them this year, you came away with a road victory at Trask Coliseum a couple weeks ago. Just what did you see from that? They have a short bench, so obviously the identity of the team hasn't changed that much coming into this game, but it was a close game, so just what do you take from that previous experience coming into this game?
Well, you know, this team's fighting. They've had now some victories to kind of brew on their confidence, and so that makes them obviously really dangerous. I mean, they're not sitting back, and Adele's working with them. She's a fantastic coach, and you know, they're going to get better. And I think that's just, you know, I feel like last week we overlooked someone in our house to worry about JMU. We cannot do that. We need to focus on Wilmington. We need to take care of business in the game here, and you know, because they're gonna do things different. They're gonna, you know, crank it up a notch because they know that they need to get a win, and so we really need to focus on stopping them.
And not to look too far ahead, but you have another challenging conference game in Drexel on Sunday as you head down to Philly. They won the WNIT championship last year. Obviously, some good players coming back. Just talk about the types of challenges you think they're going to present.
Well, they're 4-1. So last night's games, Northeastern just almost took them out. It was a 3-point game, and it was at Drexel with a minute to go, and some things just didn't go Northeastern's way, and Drexel held on to win that game. And then CFC, College of Charleston, beat Delaware, so it's 3-6 right now. We moved up to 6th place, and College of Charleston is third for their win over Delaware, barely in overtime, but they were up almost 20 most of the game. So it's interesting, the parity of what's going on. We're all kind of fighting and swinging. So, you know, Drexel's 4-1 right now, so it's kind of like Drexel and JMU leading the pack. So we certainly got to take care of business with everybody that we have, and you know, get this win on Friday first. But then, and then steal one from Drexel, you know, at their place, which we all know how interesting it is to play in the DAC. But we're going to get down there, we're going to practice, and you know, we'll be ready.
Sure, and just you know, as the conference really kicks into gear, what are you looking for your seniors, specifically Ama Yuku, who's had such a good season so far on the court? Just talk about her contributions on the court and as a leader.
Well, can I tell you what they've done differently than any other? And I'll say they because Amy Payton is helping Anma. And, you know, they have, you know, when the team is young and the confidence can get it down, you know, with the morale and those kind of things, they've done a good job of boosting that morale and trying, you know, it was really interesting hearing their insight. You know, we've been through this, we've had 4 years, we know how the conference is, so that, you know, they're experiencing what coaches feel like. How do we share that to a young group to tell them that if we keep fighting, we're going to be okay? And I think they're doing a pretty good job of that. So it really helps that the language in the locker room is your language that you're speaking, and I think that they're doing that better. You know, you don't want to compare, but I'm so happy that they are very cognizant of that, and they're just trying to lead this young group. And you know, being responsible and leading is never an easy decision, and I think they're feeling that it is difficult. I mean, sometimes when they say some of the things, I laugh. I'm like, yeah, welcome to coaching, you know. So, but having that type of insight, having kids doing that, you know, that's going to pay off, you know. And I was really proud of how AO is doing that, embracing her role, balancing the team, and you know, just being a fantastic teammate for this squad this year.
Great. Well, thank you, Coach, for your time, and thank you, fans, for watching the WBB Basin Coaches Show right here on GoHofstra.com.